Hello everyone, welcome to my first biography, not on someone who is long dead. The feature of this biography will be 42nd President of the US, Bill Clinton. Enjoy. On this day, August 19th, 75 years ago in 1946, at this modest suburban house in Hope, Arkansas, Bill Clinton was born William Jefferson Clinton to William Jefferson Blythe Jr., who was a metal salesman and mechanic that briefly helped in World War II, and to Virginia Clinton Kelly, who was a nurse. Clinton would remain in Hope for some time. However, Clinton's father, William, died 3 months before Clinton was born after a tragic car crash, and as a result, would never learn of the heights that his child would achieve. After a tragic passing of his father, Clinton and his siblings would be moved by his mother to their grandparents' house in Arkansas. This was because Clinton's mother was going to New Orleans, Louisiana, in order to study anesthesiology to be a nurse. While at their grandparents' house, at a few years old, Clinton would learn basic skills such as reading, writing, and counting. Clinton would later recount, quote, "I was reading little books when I was 3, end quote. Later, in 1950, when Clinton was 4, his mother returned from New Orleans with a degree in anesthesiology. In 1962, Clinton's mother married Roger Clinton Sr. After becoming Bill Clinton's stepfather, a rift divided the two. After moving the family to Hot Springs, Arkansas, Roger would begin spiraling into alcoholism, becoming abusive to Bill's mother. By this point, Bill had taken great offense in his stepfather's mistreatment of his mother and would snap at his father. Already at over 6 feet by the time he was 16, Clinton would be quoted as saying to his father, quote, "If you want them, you'll have to go through me." After 5 more years, with an awkward relationship with his stepfather, sometimes visiting him, probably not with some awkwardness, his stepfather would die of cancer in 1967. By his stepfather's passing, Clinton had begun a long period of education. Around 1964, Bill Clinton graduated from Hot Springs High School, a segregated all-white school. It was segregated because, It was at this time that one of the most notorious stereotypes of Clinton would emerge, his passion for the saxophone. Clinton was arguably the best in his entire high school. After graduating, Clinton would enter the American Legion's program known as the Boys State. This introduced Clinton to politics, eventually leading him to meet his idol JFK in the White House Rose Garden. After meeting JFK, Clinton would attend Georgetown University to advance his interest in politics. Following a complicated and confusing chain of events that led to Clinton not entering military service, Clinton would enroll in one of the most prestigious universities in the U.S., Yale. With the knowledge he gained here, he would teach at the University of Arkansas School of Law in Fayetteville. After his time in teaching was finished, Clinton was ready to cast his bid at running for public office. In 1974, at age 28, Clinton narrowly lost a race for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives against the Republican incumbent, John Hammerschmidt. Even though he lost it, it was very close. On October 11, 1975, Bill Clinton married Hillary Rodham, who he met 4 years earlier while in the Yale Library. Later, he would run and later be elected as 50th Attorney General of Arkansas in 1977. 2 years later, in 1979, Clinton would be sworn in as 40th Governor of Arkansas. He would serve as governor from 1979 to 1981 and 1983 to 1992. During this time, on February 27, 1980, Bill and Hillary Clinton would have their first and only child, Chelsea Victoria Clinton. After leaving office, Bill would be inspired. Little did he or those around him know that his inspiration would bring him to the highest title in the United States. On October 2, 1991, Bill Clinton announced his candidacy for the presidency of the U.S. He also announced that he would run with one of the current Tennessee senators, Al Gore. A year later, on July 16, 1992, he was nominated for president by the Democratic Party, ensuring he and Gore would run against incumbent President George H.W. Bush. With that, on November 3, 1992, with 44 million votes and an electoral college majority, Bill Clinton and Al Gore were declared winners of the 1992 presidential and vice presidential elections. On January 20th, 1993, Clinton took the oath of office, becoming the 42nd president of the U.S.
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
With his inauguration came his first term as president. During it, he would reform healthcare and firearm laws, repair relations of the U.S. and Vietnam from the bitter Vietnam War, which I made a whole history on, and sign natural welfare bills. He would also sadly lose his mother after a long battle with breast cancer. In 1996, Clinton defeated Republican nominee for president, Kansas Senator Bob Dole. Clinton would begin his next term in 1997. And now for the elephant in the room, which has probably been in the back of your head since you clicked on this video. Monica Lewinsky. On January 17, 1998, Bill Clinton publicly denied having sexual relationships with an intern who worked for him named Monica Lewinsky. This would haunt him for the rest of his life. As a result of his testimony, on August 17, 1998, before a grand jury, Clinton would become the second president of the U.S. to be impeached on December 19, 1998, after the House of Representatives voted to impeach him with no conviction. Nonetheless, after a difficult time, Clinton moved on with his presidency. After signing diplomatic documents like the White River Memorandum between Israel and Palestine, Clinton would leave the office of president in 2001, just in time to hand George W. Bush the migraine of 9/11. After leaving the presidency, Clinton would write his memoir, My Life. He would also oversee the opening of his presidential library in his hometown of Little Rock, Arkansas. Clinton's wife, Hillary, would also try to aim at becoming president of the U.S., but we all know how that ended. It was a huge defeat, if you can say. Normally, I would report on someone's death in this part of a biography, but like I said in the intro, this is my first biography on someone who isn't dead. Anyways, with over 5 decades of political service, the last impacts of the 42nd president of the U.S., Bill Clinton, will remain. And with that was my biography on Bill Clinton. Though some events may haunt Bill Clinton for years to come, his presidency will not be forgotten for the things it carried out. My next video will be a unique one. Coming out on August 23rd will be my history on an event which only happened about 15 years ago, but took hundreds of lives with it. That event is Hurricane Katrina. It will come out on August 23rd like I just said. Thanks for watching.